I'm going to give you 5 ways that you can make dating more fun. Your dating experience will be far more enjoyable if you as a woman can really embrace these things that I'm about to share and get them into your system. Let me go ahead and put this caption. Dating is more fun if you know these 5 things. Comment your city and state. Let me see where you are watching from. Those of you watching the replay, skip ahead about 3 minutes because we're about to get right into it. Okay? We are talking about 5 things that you need to know. The difference, I think, between men and women when it comes to dating is, and I say this with all due respect, the difference between men and women when it comes to dating is that men tend to not be delusional. And this is a very big statement, and I don't mean it offensively. I love it. Jack is tuning in from Mexico. Hey, Polarity Unscripted. LaShawn is tuning in from Bronx, New York. Nice to have you. We've got Thomas from Oklahoma. Perfect. I will do one more shout out, and then we're going to get off to the races. Let me know where you are watching from. My dear girl, Clemmy, she's joining. Hey, girly. She said, hey, hello, sis. Yay. We're going to be talking about ways to have more fun. Now, I said just a second ago, kind of a big statement. Men tend to not be delusional when it comes to dating. And this is the reality. Because men do not have a lot of these emotions tied to dating, they tend to deal with what is. They tend to deal with facts. Women, on the other hand, and I am including my former self, so this is not judgment. I know this stuff because I was her, okay? Women, on the other hand, we want something so badly that a lot of times we will delude ourselves into seeing things that are not there. Or we delude ourselves to say, I don't see things that are there. So if you struggle with dating, if dating is complicated, if dating is something that has you stressed out, if dating is something that makes you have to call your girlfriends and go to ChatGPT and you have so many questions and you just want to pull your hair out, this is the video for you. So stick around. All right. If somebody buys a badge or 2, I might even post this replay. So we'll see what happens. Okay. Because y'all know I'd be coming on here, leaving my messages and then going. All right. So we're going to get into this. Number 1, the first thing that you need to know as a woman to be able to have more fun in dating is that you should never try to convince a man to pick you. Okay. We hear the term pick me energy, and I don't mean the pick me's. What I'm talking about is there's something that happens within a man and he has this little picker and something goes off and he goes, I want her. I absolutely want her. And so if that doesn't happen, you need to walk away. You need to not have in your mind, well, if I could just convince him of X, Y, Z, then he'd pick me. Or if I can do whatever, I can get him to pick me. He must pick you. Okay? He said, yeah, women seeking potential even when it's not there. Right. So he has to pick you. And you might be saying, well, this is not fair. And well, don't I pick him and all this stuff. There are nuances to it. Yes, you absolutely have to be a willing participant. He can't pick you and it's like a caveman. He's putting you over his shoulder and taking you back to the cave. It's not what I'm talking about. Obviously, you have to choose him back. But what I'm talking about is something that happens within a man, and it is so precious. When he sees a woman and he can't imagine his life without her, he treats her differently. He cares about her needs. He cares about her concerns. Even to the point where if there are certain things that he needs to work on, he's even more willing to work on it. You cannot make a man feel this. And the more you get this into your soul, the more you let this sink into your spirit, the more freedom you have. So I want the women who follow me to be have this major sensor, right? Is he picking me? Is he not picking me? And if he's not picking you, walk away and do it quickly. You as a woman have an internal guide that says he's picking me or not. And you might go, no, Yonci, I don't really know. I hope she gives me 3 steps on how to know if he's serious and how to know if he has red flags. I'm going to give those to you, but I'm telling you in advance, You already have this internal guide. You know what it is? Confusion. Okay, let's go spiritual. The Bible says, God is not the author of confusion. So if there's confusion, it's not of God, right? The devil deals with confusion. I'm not calling men the devil, but I'm saying it's the same in relationships. If you are so confused, you don't know where you stand. You don't know if you go together. You don't know if he even wants to see you this weekend. If you have a lot of confusion, if there is not a lot of clarity, this is the red flag. If you have to phone a friend, red flag, okay? And gentlemen, those of you who are out seeking a bride, seeking a partner, what have you, you know this ultimately. And if you are leaving her confused, you probably have some work to do, sir, because you're being led by fear. You're afraid of being vulnerable. You're afraid of opening up. And dare I say, you're probably not ready for a relationship. Okay? So, ladies, we're focusing on you today. And as always, if you are confused, walk away. I love it. I got a male cosign already. Okay? Thank you, sir. If you are confused, walk away. And here's the beautiful thing. Even if you misjudge, even if you think that, no, he's not interested, guess what? When that light switch goes off in a man, and I'm not talking about simp energy and begging, but if he feels like, there's a disconnect, he is not just going to go, she's out of here. He is going to inquire. He is going to say, hey, I noticed you don't really respond, or, you never say you want to see me anymore, or whatever. He's going to want to see what's up. And then you could have a conversation. Oh, I didn't really think you were interested. And he's going to go, let's be clear, right? So you can't mess this up. I'm not talking about being mean to him and rude. If you simply focus on returning a man's energy, reciprocating a man's energy. He calls you, you call him. He texts you, you text him. He asks you on a date, you go on the date. He is taking the lead. What do I always say? Men have the gas pedal. Women have the brake pedal. So you just don't hit the brakes. You're enjoying what he's doing. You go along for the ride. It's not confusing. Okay? Does that make sense, guys? So focus on, am I being picked? What too many women focus on is, am I getting attention? And I hope this is going to be clear. A man can give you attention and not value you. A man can give you attention and not value you. He can actually enjoy being in your company and not value you. He can want to be physical with you and not value you. Okay? But when a man actually picks you, he is going to show up consistently, and it is going to be so clear what he wants. One of the girls in my coaching program today just shared this message, and I'll be a little vague just in case he happens to be listening. But he basically said, I'm very interested in getting to know you. This is what my schedule looks like. I want to know if you're interested in getting to know me. He left no mystery. It was extremely clear. He said, I am trying to see if we could have something here. Okay? He's not talking about maybe sometime we should hang out. Maybe you should pull up at some point. He's not going missing every couple of days. He is going to be slowly, steadily keeping on the gas. Okay? But too many women come to me and ask me, why does he do XYZ? Why is he doing XYZ? And as respectfully as I could say this, who cares? I don't mean this disrespectfully, because you do, obviously. But I'm saying who cares as in, why should you care? If you have a client, right? If you're selling a product and the person takes a survey ahead of time and they say, I'm not going to buy. I have no interest in buying. Do you really care about anything else? With this person, this window shopper? Like, no, there's nothing that's going to get this person to buy. That's kind of a weird example, right? But if you know this person has no interest in buying, you're not going to, as a real salesperson, spend any time with this person. You're not going to waste time with this person because you realize I could spend more time with the other people coming up behind him who actually are interested in buying, but they just maybe have some questions or they just need to, get a tour or whatever. Stop spending time on men who are not picking you. Stop giving him rent-free space in your head. Don't wonder why he does show up every couple of weeks. Don't wonder why he circles back. Don't wonder why, you don't hear from him, but then suddenly he starts liking your stories. Stop. No answers that I could give you are going to make a difference in your life. Your attitude should be, if this person causes me confusion and makes me even want to ask a question, I don't want him in my life. Keep things super clear, keep things black and white, and this will keep you from going down this spiral. What happens is the guy shows you a little bit of attention, and because your self-worth is tied to attention, you are all over the place. Let that sink in. Your self-worth is tied to attention. That's why when a man gives you 3 cents worth of attention, you are all over the place. When you truly understand your value, you're not worried about somebody breadcrumbing you. Now, LaShawn, I'm going to deal with your comment, and I mean this in all respect, okay? And I love that you are interacting and you're making comments. And so this is a point that I want to make because I think other people might be thinking this. This is absolutely not an attack on you. But even to make the point he should be transparent, we are putting the responsibility on the man. And I think what's confusing to women is there is such a thing as truth, right? Yes, he should be transparent. But that truth, those facts, aren't going to be helpful for us. That is like saying a person should not break into my house and steal my jewelry. That is true. That is a fact. But making that statement or focusing on that statement isn't going to protect your jewels. Okay? Thank you so much. Mary Raymore, she got the first badge. All right, if I get a couple more, I might just have to post this. Thank you so much, love. Okay? Focusing on that, focusing any energy on what the guy should be doing, subconsciously, I think, makes us not aware of what we should be doing. It makes us not take accountability for what we should be doing. Because even if it's 1 ounce of our energy is being spent on what they should and shouldn't be doing. So let's go back to the burglar analogy, right? People should not be burglars. People should not enter into homes that don't belong to them and take jewelry that doesn't belong to them. That's wrong. What I would rather you do if I'm your coach is to focus on how can I fortify my home? Because we all know that. We all know that robbers shouldn't be robbers. But that's not going to protect us. Does that make sense? So let's start to move away from, we're not even going to look at what the guy should be doing, right? Or shouldn't be doing. We're just going to focus on the behavior that we're willing to accept. And that's the energy that we're going to give. So when you we're going to go back to the comment about self-worth. When your self-worth is not tied to getting attention, you will become more free. Because what happens is when you start to get clear on what you will and won't tolerate, your phone, sister, is about to be dry. Okay? Okay, love that. Thank you, LaShawn. Your phone is about to be dry. You might need some WD-40 because it's going to be, okay? And if you haven't done the work, if you don't have the self-love, you are going to take your phone being dry, or if I go back to the old school, your dance card being empty, you're going to take that as, I'm not valuable. I'm not getting attention. I'm posting a photo and I'm not dressed, provocatively, and it doesn't get a lot of likes. You're going to think I'm not valuable. It's important for your self-worth to not be tied to getting attention. Because most people who give you the attention don't value you as a soul. So it's really just a mirage that you have value. Okay. I talk about like, it's like an accident on the side of the road. We're all giving that person attention, but we don't value them enough to pull over and see that they're okay and want to offer help. Okay. So number one, stop trying to convince a man to pick you. Instead, just start observing to see who picks you. You go into observation mode. Okay, noted. Okay, noted. Okay, noted. You are observing how he is showing up in your life so that you know how to move accordingly. So cute. He said, dance card being empty. That's a new one. So let me give you a little old school story. Back in the day when there used to actually be formal dances, and I don't mean formal like the prom, I mean like way back in the day, there would be an actual dance card. We're talking like the time where there was black and white movies and stuff. They would have an actual dance card, and the men would have to sign up to be able to do a dance with a woman, to be like the waltz or what have you. And so I'd be like, oh, her dance card's full. I missed my opportunity. But yeah, it was very formal back then. So if no men signed up for your dance card, that could be a little awkward, like having a dry phone. Okay? Little fun fact. Let me know in the comments if you guys have heard of dance cards before. But you want to walk away quickly from men who don't pick you. And what a lot of women will do is they feel like they're not getting what they want from the guy out the gate. So they say, he just doesn't know. That is not true. He absolutely knows. He's just not motivated to do it for you. He says, I don't want a relationship. What he's saying is, I don't want a relationship with you. So stop sticking around thinking if I can show him this little trick that I can do, if I give him a chance to sample the food that I make, or let me give him a taste of what it would be to be as his wife, or maybe if we have a kid. No. You deal with what a man gives to you, and you believe him the first time around. Here's the thing. A lot of guys won't walk away, and that's what confuses women. They don't want you as his girlfriend, as his wife, but they won't walk away. Why? Because they're getting awesomeness, right? So the woman doesn't walk away. She sticks around, holds on to hope, thinks that one day this could be something. And guess what? He's not showing up the whole time. He's not showing up as how you want. So guess how you're going to be during this time? You're going to be miserable. You're going to see the guys who love and adore their wife or girlfriend or whatever, and you're going to be miserable. You don't do this for me. You don't do that for me. Thank you, Clemmy. Clemmy got a second badge. Okay, y'all are playing around. I might just have to post this. You're going to be miserable. So even though, thank you, Veronica. Veronica got a badge. All right, guys. So let me be serious. If I get 2 more, total of 5, I will absolutely post this. Okay? Thank you for the badges. So you're going to be miserable if you stick around. So stop telling yourself, this is better, this is better, this is better. It is better to cut your losses instantly when you see that he is not giving you the type of energy that you want. All right, so I spent a lot of time on number 1. Hopefully you guys all got that. Stop trying to convince the man to pick you. Number 2, have your standards before you start dating. Now, this is something that we go over in detail in my course. We go over the 4 categories that you have broken down. What happens with a lot of girls is that they start out as girls and they just go off of who's picking them. Like, oh, this guy likes me, he's picking me, great. And they just go with whomever, they decide to choose, or whoever picks them. And so you are not taking the time to decide what you're interested in. Again, this goes back. Thank you, Lynn. She got a badge. All right, we got 1 more to go. If your self-worth is tied to being picked, you're going to be afraid to have standards and boundaries because you're going to say, well, I could scare somebody off. Okay. Now I'm going to share this lovingly. One of my students asked today, hey, if I'm filling out a dating profile, what should I pick? Because I don't want to, basically like sound too serious to somebody who's maybe not that serious. And if I pick, I want a relationship, a long-term relationship, that might scare some people off. And what I told her was, it should scare some people off. It should scare off the people who are not qualified to be with you. But for a man who also wants a full-time, long-term relationship, he's going to go, perfect, we're aligned. It's like my course. If I'm selling my course for $100 and I put it out there that, my course is $100 or my course is more than $5 or whatever I do to qualify, and there are some people who go, oh, now that I know it's $100, I don't want to sign up for it. I'm okay with that. Or, I do a discovery call to see if the person wants to do the program. We go over in detail what all it covers and whatever, because it's very comprehensive. And if on the form I say, hey, my course, costs over $100, and some people go, oh, I definitely don't have that in my budget, and they don't want to schedule a call, I'm not hurt. Why? Because I'm not wasting my time. I didn't just sit there and do a whole 45-minute presentation to somebody who never was aligned with my course to begin with. So it's the same thing. If you know what things you need and don't want from a man before you go in, be clear about that, okay? But you have to understand that the majority of people will not be your match. So the sooner you can get used to men leaving and walking away and you still knowing that you're valuable, the better off you will be, okay? So number 2, have your standards before you start the dating process and quickly move away from people who are not aligned with you. All right, number 3, and I just realized I kind of wrapped 3 and 2 together. It's don't be afraid to scare a man off. Don't be afraid to scare a man off. You have to constantly think of future you. Future you is, in a perfect world, married to her partner. You want this man who loves and adores you. So go back to number 1. You don't convince a man to pick you. A man who says, oh my God, that is my good thing. I don't want to live without her. His attitude is totally different towards you. He is going to always want to keep working to please you, obviously within reason, right? But he's going to have a different mindset than somebody who just got worn down. Fine, Felicia, fine. I'll marry you. All right. Yes, we have 4 kids together. I'll put a ring on it, right? That guy is not going to show up in the same way as the guy who was like, oh, I had to work for her. I love her. She's amazing. I can't believe I have her. That's a different kind of guy. So you have to think about future you and how you're going to be. So if a guy at the beginning isn't cutting it, you owe it to future you to say, good riddance. I'm glad I got rid of this guy, because there's no way, if this is how he's starting, there's no way he could be what I want down the road. You are going to be miserable if you're not in alignment. He tells you out the gate he doesn't want a relationship or he doesn't want kids, and you desperately want to be a mother. You desperately want to have commitment. You are going to be butting heads. The guy who is right for you is going to think it is so cool that you're super clear, and it's going to be confirmation, confirmation, confirmation. Oh, she really values faith. Oh, that's awesome, because I also value someone of faith. Oh, she's really was really intentional about not having kids because she wants her first one to be with her husband. That's awesome, because I have been doing the same thing. I have been intentional not having kids, despite what these people think. It's weird. I don't have kids in my what? Right? Oh, intentional, 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 intentional. She hasn't dated someone in the past 3 years because nobody has met her criteria. That's cool. I know she's not just desperate for male attention. She can go more than 30 days without having a boo. Some people pop up every 5 minutes with a new boo. Guarantee you're not aligned, because there are not that many people you're going to be that compatible with. It took me 8 years to meet somebody who I was compatible with. Okay? So number 3, don't be scared to scare a man off. You should be scared of not scaring the wrong men off. Okay? Number 4, stop treating dating like an interview. When you go into this date, you should have curiosity. Just remember that one word. Be curious. Be curious to know about this guy. Don't go in there, I want to rule this guy out or make sure I vet him. If you go in with vetting energy as opposed to, let me be curious and get to know this person. Kind of like a new neighbor. Hey, I have a new neighbor. Let's get to know this person. As you get to know them, you might decide we're going to be the best of friends and do a bunch of stuff together. As you get to know the new neighbor, you might be like, ooh, I definitely don't want to hang out with that person. But you took a little time to get to know them. Be curious. Understand about his experiences. Get to know his experiences. Understand what makes him light up. What pisses him off. Maybe what's been frustrating about the dating process. If you're curious about the person, then you actually have some information to go off of. And of course, you can pepper in certain questions along the way. But too many women go into dating either as, I'm looking to be entertained, entertain me, court gesture, or we're going to see if you won't pass this test, Negro. And that energy is not inviting. The reason why women tend to do this is not because they're evil people. It's because they're afraid of their emotions getting caught up. Okay? Comment the word emotions if you've ever been afraid of your emotions getting the best of you and you maybe not using your logical brain because your emotions are swept up. He's so fine. He has side teeth. His beard connects. He has subject verb agreement. I can't think straight. Right? Comment emotions if you've ever done that, if you're going to be honest. I've done that, okay? And I realized I cannot allow my emotions to control me. I have to be able to make sound decisions. So this is actually an indication that you need to work on emotional self-control. This is, again, something that I cover in my course. We have to work through this because there are going to be times where you start to catch feelings. Because guess what? You're a human and you're a feminine woman. So you're very in touch with your emotions. It feels good having a guy calling you. It feels good having him tell you that you're pretty. It feels good. And it's okay. You should be able to enjoy those things and be in the moment. But having self-control with your emotions allows you to say, this was really a fun day. And leave it at that. This was a fun day. In this moment, he made me feel great. When your emotions are out of control, your mind says, oh, I bet this is it. I bet he's the one. I got butterflies today. So, oh man, what would my first name and his last name sound like together? Oh, and you start to go beyond today. No, baby girl, you had a really great date today and you can enjoy today. I enjoyed Saturday. I enjoyed this date. And we'll see if tomorrow he shows up in the same way. And we're going to see the next day if he shows up in the same way. And we're going to come back and we're going to reevaluate a week later. Has he been consistent? Okay? She said emotion for sure in the past, definitely more emotionally intelligent as you go along. I love that. Or you said definitely more emotional intelligence goes a long way. Hope I'm reading that correctly. So if you can control yourself, you are more able to be clear in what's happening. And this is why I said at the very beginning, thank you, LaShawn, there's a lot of delusion. With women, we're fighting our own delusion. If I said, hey, give me 100 stories of things that you're confused by or upset by or whatever, I would probably look at 100 of those stories and say, these aren't confusing at all. This is a man who's not into you. And the solution is very simple. Move on. But what happens is maybe there's a lull. You haven't gotten attention in a while. It's been some time. And so you are just so excited to get some sort of attention that you grab onto it and you're holding onto it so tight you don't want to let it go. You go, I don't know when the next meal's coming, so I'm going to hold on to this Lunchable. I know I'd rather have steak and potatoes, but doggone it, I'm going to hold on to this Lunchable. But then you're writing letters to me saying, I'm malnourished. I don't feel full. What do I do? How can I make this Lunchable more filling? Baby girl, it's not. I wish I had a more enjoyable answer, but it's not. Put the Lunchable down. Put the Lunchable down. Maybe you need to go grow some plants and start sustaining yourself because there isn't anything out here right now. And that's another thing that I'm going to add. This is an additional point. If your life is not fulfilling now, there is going to be too much that you expect from a man, which pulls this pulls perfectly into my number 5. Having realistic expectations is number 5, but I'm going to add something in there that I wasn't going to talk about. If your life basically is dull and lifeless right now, you are amongst a lot of your peers. If this is what you say, you're not alone. A lot of women have this thought. My life is dull and boring right now, but one day, when he comes into my life, I'm going to start doing all the things. There's this whole bucket list of stuff, right? Now, it's one thing to say there's some things I want to save for my husband to enjoy with me. That's one thing, right? But it's different to be like, my life is going to go from Cinderella and sucking to being on top of the world and just loving life. Guess what? All your insecurities and baggage and problems and stuff like that you have, they are all attached to you. And when you get in the relationship, they're still right there. So if you are a boring person who doesn't have an exciting life, you are still going to be a boring person who doesn't have an exciting life. And this guy is going to pick up on this energy and he's going to feel unrealistic pressures. Okay? It's kind of like inviting a friend over and the friend's like, okay, what are we going to do? What are we gonna do? If you ever had a kid around you, they're like, what are we gonna do? I'm just sitting here chilling. Like, I don't know. I haven't thought about the rest of the day. I just want to watch this show, or I just want to sit and do nothing, or whatever. It becomes this burden, like you're this itinerary planner, as opposed to just things happening naturally. So if you're looking for this guy to come and rescue you out of your life, you know, I'm going to get in shape once I have a guy who's there to be a gym partner with me, or I'm going to start traveling when I have a guy who's going to do this and that. Start to live the life that you want right now. Ansel says, is it Anze? I think Anze. I used to get so caught up with big gestures like him showing up in times when I need him emotionally, checking in every day, but not physically present for weeks, still not aligned. Yeah. Doing little bits sporadically is, oof. I'd rather slow and steady than big gestures sporadically. It'll actually jack up your nervous system. Okay? Put NS for nervous system if you can relate to this, ladies. Have you ever, and don't feel judged, okay? Because I only know how to describe this because I've been there. You ever like somebody, but they were so inconsistent that you almost felt like you couldn't start your day till you got that text? Like you were pissed. You're in your work meetings looking at your phone. This Negro hasn't even texted me yet. And then when the ding finally comes through, because don't lie, you put his special ringtone, okay, and text in the call. And so when it goes, it does a special ring, then you're like, and life can go on, right? You're just we're not meant to be like that. We're meant to be loved and adored. And so part of being in a healthy relationship is you have the steady, consistent energy coming in. So do yourself a favor. Don't entertain men who got your nervous system all over the place. They're going missing for days. I remember this one guy, he went missing after talking every single day without fail. FaceTime every single day. Went missing, and at first I was really annoyed. Then I was like, oh my God, what if something actually happened to him? So I did one of those, like, are you still alive? And then he took, full business day to respond. And he said, yes, he was. And it was like, okay, cool. He's alive, so I'm not an a-hole. And then I blocked him. Because I'm like, I don't want to, be wondering if he's dead. Okay, he's alive. Now I can block you in good conscience. We don't deserve that. And self-love says, I matter enough that I'm going to either get what I deserve or I don't want anything at all. I'd rather have nothing than for you to show up in a way that is going to wreck my nervous system. And I will not let you guys blame men for your nervous system being out of whack. Are they the reason for it? They're doing the action, yes. But why do they have access to you? We're going to go back to the robbery scenario. You coming to me crying repeatedly about your jewels being stolen. Now they took my Xbox. That was my kid's Xbox. They took my fine china. My grandma passed that down. And I'm like, how is this person getting in your house? Well, I leave my door unlocked. Okay. But let's talk about the robber and how terrible he is. Well, we all know that robbers are terrible, but honey, let's focus on why you keep that door unlocked. So if a man shows up and he's not consistent, he's not showing up in a way that you need him to, but you keep letting him come into your world and access you. Do you see what I mean now? The robbery example. So let's work on locking that door. Let's work on getting a peephole. Let's work on installing a camera system. Let's do the things that we can do to protect ourselves. She said, how do you communicate that with them? Especially they have been genuinely nice. No need to block or stonewall. How do I communicate what? Let me know what specifically you're referring to and what would be communicated, and I'll be happy to answer. But we're still on number 5. Have realistic expectations. By the way, guys, if you have a question, drop me a question in the question queue, because I might do a little Q&A at the end. Drop me a question in the question queue. You just hit the little plus sign. And then at the end, if I have any questions in there, I'll answer them so I don't miss anything. Otherwise, they're moving down the little comment river. You said the nervous system. How do you communicate that? I still don't follow 100%. So give me more details. Okay, so we're going to keep on with number 5. Number 5, have realistic expectations. The first thing that I got to say is this, and this one, where's my BGP tribe? Comment BGP if you already know about BGP tribe. Comment BGP, because this one is the BGP. Okay? Go ahead and put that question. I don't want to lose my train of thought, love. So put your question in the question queue and I'll give it a very thoughtful answer at the end, if you don't mind. But comment BGP if you know what BGP is. BGP is big girl panties. These are the type, yeah, Lynn knows about these, okay? These are the type of panties that you get at Walmart, okay? These are the ones like you could pull up and hold them with two hands like this. These are the big girl panties. You pull them up and you put them up under your boobies or maybe to your armpits because these are so big, right? Whoosh. What I'm about to say, you got to have your big girl panties on because if you don't, you might get mad at me. You might run away. You might even want to unfollow me. So I'm letting you know, go find them. You keep them rolled up in the closet. Go get them. Maybe use them as a canopy outside. Go pull it out, but pull them big boys up. Okay. Put them on real tight. Number 5, have realistic expectations. You might feel subconsciously like you're such a catch that a man should just intuit all your great qualities. I'm loving, I'm kind, I'm thoughtful, and I cook really well, blah, 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 blah. Okay? Thanks, Clemmy. But here's the thing. We live in the real world, and we have eyeballs. And men especially, I hate when people say men are visual. We are too. Like, look at the pages where the guy has the no shirt on. He's flexing his little muscles and, you know, or the print is looking a certain way, right? We see all these likes and these aren't homosexual likes. These are heterosexual likes. That means that women are visual, right? We're not going and liking thirst trap photos of men who don't have it together physically, okay? So let's just be honest. We live in the real world. And so if you want peak visually appealing men, right? You want this caliber of man. He's in shape, he's fit, he's whatever. Understand that that's the top shelf. That's the top choice that everybody wants. So you have two choices. You can either get yourself in peak condition, and now you're going to be at, you know, competition level, or you can lower what you're going for and find someone on your level, right? Like, this is so not okay to say in 2025, but I'm going to say it because I know you guys have your BGPs on, okay? Ladies, we have to be realistic. It's not shallow for a man to like what he sees, just like it's not shallow for us to like what we see. So we have to present ourselves in a way that is visually appealing. And some of you, if you would just open your pages, you would have so many more options. I'm not going to argue with you about why you have it private. I'm just saying. Some women feel, okay, well, if this guy would just request me, and then you want to make it as easy to see you and discover you, okay? Because if a guy can't see you, he can't be attracted to you, and he can't ask you out, and he can't get to know. So we have to do what we can do. You need to make sure you are putting your best foot forward, okay? And sometimes I see my sisters being very sloppy, not putting their best foot forward. They are in house attire and posting videos and photos and things like that. We live in the real world, and men have eyeballs, okay? So having realistic expectations is saying, I don't think that I can show up sloppy and not representing myself well and think that men will just overlook what's happening on the outside. Is that fair? Okay? Just like we want him to clean his dirty fingernails. We want him to, you know, have his shoes clean. We want him to have a nice lineup or whatever. We got to be realistic and put our best foot forward. What does that look like? I think we all know. I'm getting called to dinner, y'all, so let me wrap this up. We got to put our best foot forward. You also have to know what men are interested in. You have to know what makes them excited to talk to you. And I do a lot of exercises with women, and I find that a lot of women are clueless on how to pull their weight in conversation. They are clueless on how to flirt back. And guess what? if he finds you attractive, but you are as dull as a box of rocks, especially if he's cute, he has options. So we have to take accountability for what's on our side of the fence. Yes, there are men who waste your time. Yes, there are men who just want to have sex. Yes, there are men who breadcrumb. Yes, that's what the men are doing. But we also have to look at our side and have realistic expectations. What are we doing? What are we putting out here? Am I putting thirst traps? Am I showing my little girls every time I can? Am I got my cheeks hanging out? Am I trying to jiggle it for... Am I giving this sexy, sexy, sexy vibe and then wondering why men are coming to my page like it's an OnlyFans page? Like, we have to be realistic with our expectations, okay? And the other thing that I want to say is, with it comes to being realistic with your expectations, is let a guy know that you're into him. He wants to feel good too. Stop trying to be so hard. Stop trying to be this mystery. Like, yes, you should have a little bit of mystery where you're not just blah, everything's out. But give a little, flirt back a little, stroke his ego a little bit. Trying to be so hard doesn't work. Maybe that worked in the 80s and the 90s, but flatter him. Let him know. Oh, you were checking for me? I mean, I might have noticed you. Like, don't be so arrogant that you can't gas him a little. Put a little chevron in your spirit. Oh, a little chevron. I mean, and not the 87, like, do the high octane, right? Like, gas him. You ever make a black man blush? Oh, it's so cute. I know there are other nationalities here, but especially a black man blushing is so cute. They just, they don't know what to do with themselves. They're like, make him blush. Make him uncomfortable. Make his tongue get tied. I don't know what to say. I never heard somebody say that before. Okay? Get out of your comfort zone. Your job as a reciprocator, is that even a word? One who reciprocates, is to let him know, yeah, daddy, you in the right lane. You barking up the right tree. You doing everything right. You are affirming. You are confirming. You are letting him know that you are appreciating what he is doing. And he will say, oh, say less. Say less. And he will continue to do. Attaboy, attaboy, attaboy. And that boy is going to keep on coming. All right. So we have to be realistic in our expectations. No man is going to want to date an ice queen. No man is going to try to climb your walls a mile high. No man is going to try to, look for blues clues to see if you like him or not. Let him know he's on the right path. Okay. Now, let me quickly answer these questions before I have to go help with dinner. She said, sorry, I meant to say, he said no sex until he is ready to commit. He is vulnerable, but I want him to commit and he wants time. I need to take your class. You should, girl. Just DM me or click the link in my bio for the dating manual. Set up a discovery call. She said he shows up in big ways, like traveling with me to bury my dad. He's consistent with communication, but not committing, and he needs time. No sex until he is ready to commit. Okay. So I would just say you have to decide how long you're willing to wait. That's the big thing. You have to decide how long you are willing to wait. And if that doesn't work for you, you have to be willing to move on. And here's the thing. What's for you is for you. There's nothing wrong with you saying, okay, you need time. Well, you know what? If we're meant to be, we'll be. I'm going to go do my thing. There's nothing wrong with just being friends, but keeping your options open and be honest with him. Because what if, God forbid, he doesn't, ever come around? Now you've just wasted all your years, right? As a woman, your I don't want to say your good years, but your healthy reproductive years. So I can't see a man in good conscience telling a woman just to sit around and wait, and I can't give you any assurances. I'm going to go out here and do my thing. Hey, if I meet someone in the meantime, it is what it is. And if it's meant to be, then, we can reconnect. But that's what I would say if it was my daughter I was giving advice to. So Veronica's asking for tips on how to not be led by emotions. That is going to take a little bit more time than I have. Fortunately, I go over that in my course. And so we will be spending a lot of time talking about that. But that is a great thing. And I can say I have really, really, really come a long way. So there's hope for me. There's definitely hope for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. I told you if I got 5 badges, I would save this live. I only got 4 unless I am mistaken. So you guys have about 30 more seconds if someone else wants to get a badge, and I will share this live on my page. I gave 5 tips on how to make dating more fun if you know the 5 things that I'm going over. Real quickly, if you enjoy this information, you start to see, man, maybe these are some of the mistakes that I've been making. I invite you to just see if my course is something that will help you. Go to the link in my bio, click on the dating manual. That's my 5-week coaching program. And you can set up, oh, Lynn saved the day. She got the 5th badge. All right, I'm going to post this. You can go and click it and make a discovery call. All this is just a call with me on Zoom. And we will go over what the course entails, how much it is, who this is for. And after this call, you will be 1000% clear on whether or not this is the course for you. She said, I enjoyed and haven't seen you since 2023. Oh, she said, congratulations on my rock. Thank you so much. But set up that call, see if it's a good fit for you. I have had 80 plus women gone through the program. I've gotten rave reviews. I won't say their names, but there are quite a few that are watching on this live stream. But we go through a lot. We talk about how to become the best version of yourself so you can attract the highest and best man possible. And you're going to be happier. 2, we talk about how to vet men. Thank you, Tay. She got badge number 6. Thank you, Tay. How to vet men so you don't waste your own time. You're quickly going to know. And how to move from the point of meeting the guy up until dates 1 through 3. And then last but not least, how to inspire commitment. How to be so beautifully in your feminine energy that it just makes a man want to put a ring on it. So that's what we go over in my course. If you're interested to learn more, what the dates are, how much it costs, all that good stuff, just go to the link in my bio, click discovery call, book a discovery call. It's under the dating manual. It's right there at the top of the page. All right, you guys, I enjoyed hanging out with you. I'm going to go make some Brussels sprouts to go with the ribs that my man's been smoking for 4 hours. I'm excited. Clemmy says it was a fantastic course. Loved it. Thank you, love. I thank you for that.